I'm back with another video. Yannick is here. Today I want to show you first half of my Sims 3 Lepacy challenge, in which each generation focuses on different expansion pack to remind myself of capabilities of this game. My challenge rules. New generation starts when the oldest playable child becomes a young adult. Every generation starts in a new city, except for World Adventures. If EP comes with no new city, then I pick a store world that was released before the expansion. I can have multiple heirs, and their children don't have to be one. When generation has ended, I can turn off the expansion. I don't play with World Adventures after finishing the generation. I can delay the feature of expansion if I won't play with it in the right generation. No on-world store content allowed, as it would be too tedious to track it. No game-changing mods, except for like smoking, etc. In this point I mean mods that could add new features to the game, new gameplay capabilities, like for example lawsuit mod I seen on MTS. I loaded the save I was thinking of starting with the means of continuing the World Adventures generation, because Sunset Valley on my laptop was not working too well, even with smooth patch, and this is how it looks like. I don't know what this is meant to be. Why does the map look like this? Ah, I didn't put language files back in the... Wait, what? The land crab family lives in our first home, which looks like that. I think there was a greenhouse here, but I removed my store objects because I think it doesn't kinda make sense to do it in Lepacy. So later I stopped using it. I think they later got a basement to store their gems, but the house looks nothing special. I think it changed because I removed some CC. Generation 1, base game. I started the Lepacy humbly, naming my thunder something that's long and unpronounceable in English. Base game theme for me is open world, collections, gardening, big world, kleptomaniac trait. So he was a kleptomaniac, and also he had commitment issues because I wasn't focused on relationships in that generation. His lifetime was to be a jack of all trades, to play around with careers a little. At first he was in sports, later he switched to criminal, then to military, and at last he's a snitch. He achieved that lifetime want. He maxed out gardening and was about to do the same with fishing. He maxed out also athletic because it was a requirement for jobs. I focused with him on my favorite thing to do in TS3, which is collecting gems. My goal for him was to complete the collection, which I did. His another hobby was gardening, with a goal to plant the life fruit and flame fruit. At the time I had a thought of keeping one random item as a symbol of a generation. For this one I wanted it to be a hard-cut rainbow gem, but by accident I merged it with the others in a WA gablot. He had no partner, as I planned to have a single sim-focused household, and also I was experimenting with wands-based game style in TS3. Single sim play can be a breath of fresh air at times, and overall love-related ones were limited for him. He had a daughter with Monica Morris, who was at the time married to the styles guy from one of the roommate households. She has a younger half-brother. When Yesinia was a child or teen, I made her move in with her father, imagining she was mistreated in the household due to being an unfair baby. Speaking of which, here comes Yesinia playing for the snake in the middle of the road. Obviously no visioner because I removed those. Generation 2 World Adventures. In that generation I stayed in Sunset Valley because I didn't want to deal with moving cities. This is the last time I tried to play Sims 3 on my laptop. Long loading, texture time, simulation lag, even with smooth patch, made me uninterested with playing. I almost gave up, but finished it. World Adventures Andrew Yesinia. She was obviously an adventurer who loved the outdoors. She was also good, a heavy sleeper and a slob. She was working in the military, but her job wasn't that important as I focused on exploration. Yesinia married twice. Her first husband was a son of Christopher Steele and Holly Alto. He died at Indiana's birthday party. He was aging to a toddler. Her second husband is Li Yuan from China. I had to use cheats to make him playable. My goal in second generation was to marry a sim from a vacation destination. Yesinia's highest skill were mostly those that came with world adventures alongside gardening. She was helping Andrew with plants when he couldn't. Lee has two kids in China, but they are not a part of that story. Yesinia had a first child, Indiana, with her first husband. With Lee she had 3 more children. First one is Gia, second one was Fen, which he was a heir in ambitions, and Xiao Jian. I also wanted to add that she brought home mommy from Egypt, but it bugged and it's not there anymore. There's a photo of him holding Gia when she was a baby. Now I've witnessed some weird glitch. He's like in bigamy, married to Yesenia, and my biggest issue with second generation was that it was basically base game 2.0 but longer. World Adventures doesn't add any features that could enhance the gameplay. Due to her traveling and then recovering from them, it took longer to finish it. Also, the gameplay was boring sometimes. Generation 3 Ambitions. Sadly, I don't have any footage left of the generation, so it's basically a lost media. I can't find any important screenshots or save files. So I have to work with what's left. Ambitions Air number 1, Yesinia Fen. His traits are loner, neurotic, brave, loves the outdoors and vehicle enthusiast. Fen was a firefighter with a want to rescue 30 Sims. He didn't finish it because the generation was cut short and he continued working in Bridgeport. I think he could be halfway done with it. After moving to Bridgeport, he explored the bartending skill and became a ghost hunter. He was never married but had 2 lovers. One was a girl made by me, who abandoned him with his son. Later in Bridgeport, he was in a relationship with the Hemlock Lady and had a daughter named Kara. It was never a serious relationship. I think she didn't care for him at all. Ambitions Side Family number 1. Yesinia Gia Racket. Gia was an artistic girl whose profession was a stylist. In the free time she was exploring sculpting. Her only partner was Shark Racket, which she married and had 2 kids, Harvey and Scott, when Harvey was a teen. Gia was a workaholic, savvy sculptor, dislikes children, light sleeper and artistic. He may be young, but Shark has taken a keen interest in his family's business. Will he follow in the footsteps of his father? You will see his life follow a more legitimate track. The answer is, he's a cop. He was born in the wrong generation. I love random arguments. And by the way, he just a few minutes before tried to flirt with Jade. Jade's bass playing skills are better than Shark's bedroom skills. What the actual fuck is this? And people say in Sims 3 public lots are empty. Ambition side family 2 and 3. Yesenia, Indiana and Xiaojuan. Indiana is the oldest from the four and his father died at his birthday party. Indiana was handy, perfectionist, eccentric, ambitious computer whiz. He was into inventing stuff, worked at it until his death. His lifetime want was to create free robots, which he achieved. He never had any descendants, but he had some partners during his lifetime. I remember how annoying it was to get a pink diamond again to create those robots. Xiao Jian was a private detective who lived alone. He was also child-free and I played with him in free time when I wanted to chill out a little. He was insane, a genius and a light sleeper. His last two traits came from ambitions. I didn't know there's such thing as a styling skill. Sadly, I don't think it does anything meaningful. He's been talking to himself instead of solving a case. The genius trait highlights not insane. Here's a family tree at the end of the third generation. So Andrew didn't have more children. Yesenia had four. Indiana was with Jade at this moment. Gia was married to Shark and had Harvey. Fen was single and had Ryan. Again, Xiaojian kept being single. I remember that generation got cut short due to my own stupidity. Somehow I managed to delete the save file and was thinking of restarting the challenge, but I had an older save, recreated all of them and moved on to the fourth generation, which is late night. Generation 4, late night. That's the last generation with a singular R. I wasn't sure back then if I want to try a rotational gameplay, so the gameplay took its place in this EA built house. I've added 2 more bedrooms as a space for Ryan and Harvey. Rest of the family has landed in random apartments. Late night air number 1. Fen Ryan. Ryan hates the outdoors, has a store quality, is a virtuoso bookworm, and is easily impressed. Ryan's lifetime want was to be a one-sim band, which he achieved. As I've said before, he had an emo band called 21 Savages, which wasn't very successful because no one was giving them any opportunities. His bandmates included Jet Atkins, Jeremy Colley and Dallas Hawk. He got married to his former fan named Candy, who was a big fan of his music. She was a book writer and wanted that 3K in royalties, which she achieved. Her books at first were mid-selling fanfics, which later evolved into thought-provoking political stories. Later, the book titles were referring to Kendrick Lamar Drake beef, and that's what I see as her sellout era. Her bestseller books were like I'm Hiding More Kids, humor. My sadness is too deep for you. Shrek 2, sci-fi. The day all of you are armies, sci-fi. The day everybody's an army, sci-fi. The Hidden Kid 2, trashy. Twin Lamp, trashy. They had 5 kids together, which was an accident. Billy, triplets Patricia, Pete, Phoebe, and Hailey. The middle children were a shock to me as they did nothing to achieve that. They were famous, so big family life wasn't on my bingo card. They did a decent job raising them, even if Billy grew up to be a mean Anglo babysitter and Hailey has become an evil military lady. Late night side family number 1. Gia, Harvey Racket Slayer. Harvey was exploring the acting side of the fame alongside vampirism. She was a 4-star at the peak of her career. For some time she lived with her uncle in the famed district in that one-bedroom home where I built her a bedroom. Later she became a vampire and married Elvira Slayer. They had and raised a daughter together named Crystal, which is an effect of an in vitro procedure with the help of Matthew Hamming. After she was born, I wasn't playing with them anymore. Crystal was single most of her life, and at the end of her life, she and her partner adopted some children, as I'm unsure where they are coming from. Family tree at the end of the 4th generation. Fen had a daughter with Morrigan Hemlock named Cara Hemlock. His oldest, Ryan, married Candy and had 5 kids. Billy, triplets Pete, Patricia, Phoebe, and Hailey. From Gia's side, she had 2 kids with Shark Racket from Twinbrook. Harvey married Elvira Slayer and they have a daughter named Crystal. Scott married Carissa, who's a daughter of the Bridgeport teenagers, and had 3 sons, Rashid, Lashon, Abel. Generation 5. Generations. In that generation I changed my aging system a bit to be 4 days equals 1 year. I wanted to have more time to focus on individual families. Here also I started setting up my NRAS mods, mostly Retuner, to get rid of annoying autonomous interactions. For that generation I decided to have 2 heirs, Billy and Hailey. I played with the triplets sometimes. For pets I decided to continue with that tradition and I treated Chuck and Isaac as equal heirs. I was playing also with things I left out from other generations, including teaching career, fishing and home decorator career. Generations doesn't have a specific topic, so I spent my time playing with new items and going from birth to death. The generation took place in Riverview. Other candidate was Bardacle Bay, but it's a mid-town. Generations are number 1. Ryan, Billy. Billy's traits: insane, mean, family-oriented, nurturing, angler. Billy was the oldest kid of the couple. He never worked in a traditional field, instead he made his living as a nanny. He was paid for babysitting triplets kids. The previous generation ended up with 5 kids, so he didn't receive the raise 5 kids lifetime want. Instead, he got the one to have 13 perfect fishes. My reasoning was that I didn't explore fishing fully in the base game. He fulfilled it quite quickly. He was in 3 relationships. Constance Shelley was his first girlfriend. He got married to Anastasia, which was created by me and was a mad scientist. After his midlife crisis kicked in, they got divorced and he dated Susie Broke for a while. He had twins with Constance, which he didn't care about, named Alyssa and Dominic. With Anastasia he had Chuck and Carrie. He lived in a house I found on Tumblr, I think, as I'm not a builder. In the end, there's Anastasia close-up. Generations are number 2. Ryan Hailey. Hailey is one of my favorite characters here. Her character is so negative. She is the youngest of 5 and moved to Riverview as a teen. In those years, she was extremely rebellious and was known for being brought home by the police. Those experiences made her overly mature and joined the military with a goal to becoming an astronaut. Her first crush was Mary Kay Shallow. She went in a relationship with Kelly, who was babysitting Billy's kids at the time. There was a hard time deciding which one is right for Hailey, but she chose Kelly, who she ended up marrying. Kelly is a typical kleptomaniac, and at first I had a thought that she might be coming from poverty, and that's why she babysits. She looks like the type of person who wants to get rich real quick, and not in so legal ways. So she became a politician and climbed up the hierarchy. Another thing to note about her is that she's an alcoholic. She loves using the home bars. They had 2 kids, Isaac and Jennifer. Isaac was adopted by Hailey, who wanted a kid first. He's good-hearted unlike her and works in the police department. Jennifer is a child wanted by Kelly. As she's family-oriented, I figured out she would like to experience pregnancy and she asked family friend Dallas Shallow for help. They don't hide the fact that Dallas was a donor. Kylie and Kelly's first serious relationship crisis happened when Isaac and Jennifer grew up 2 children. Hailey wanted to enroll both of them in the private school, but Kelly preferred more traditional education means. Military school won, and Jennifer resents her mother for forcing her to go there. Generations side family number 1. Ryan Patricia Broke. Patricia was very grumpy, so I made her a teacher. She married Trigger Broke and cheated on him. Then she got divorced, got steady with Bob just to be back with Trigger. T initially forgave her. She had 2 daughters, Dina and Brandy. Only Dina is Trigger's daughter. Brandy's dad is Hal, that's a policeman heartbreaker. Brandy as a teen was bugged and refused to age up, so I had to get rid of her. Dina's in love with Don Lotario. I remade him for fun and now I'm thinking that he sucks at picking town to live in. Pleasant View is small and everybody would quickly know what he's about. Riverview is a village too. He should go to, I don't know, Bridgeport or something. She kicked his butt twice, but she has only 2 athletic points. Generations side family number 2. Ryan, Phoebe Newby. Phoebe is the dark one of the triplets with the emo dark aesthetics. She married Bob Newby, got divorced and swapped partners with Patricia for a while. She was a teacher, a cop, and now she's a criminal. Speaking of which, she got a phone call from her previous workplace to go as a prisoner. She's good and it makes no sense. Her kids are Darcy, Craig, Jared, Jessica. Generation side family number 3. Ryan, Pete. Pete was very similar to Gia from Generation 3, as he was also sculpting in the free time. I played with him a little to explore the home decorator career, so I didn't choose him as an heir. He got married to Betty Simovich and had 4 sons, Roberto, Charles, Mortimer and Christopher. Christopher is a trans male who as an adult went through transition. Family tree at the end of the generation. Starting with Gia's side. Crystal is not a vampire anymore and is an adult. Scott married Carissa, who's a kid of Bridgeport teenagers and had 3 kids, Abel, Rashid, Lashon. Her dates Skip Broke. Abel dates Billy's ex-wife Anastasia. Now it's time to explain Ben's side. Billy had 4 kids. With Constance Shelley, there's Alyssa and Dominic. With Anastasia, there's Chuck and Kerry. Pete, first of the triplets, had with Betty Simovich, Roberto, Charles, Mortimer, Christopher. Patricia, second of the triplets, had Dina with Trigger Broke and Brandy Broke with Hal. Phoebe, the last triplet, had 4 kids with Bob Doobie. Darcy, Craig, Jared, Jessica. Hailey, the youngest one, had Isaac and Jennifer. Generation 6. Pets. It's the second generation when the game feels more mine, due to me spending time configuring retuner and playing a bit with options. I limited my Lepacy-related families to having 2 kids to prevent overpopulating the town. The generation lasted around 17 weeks. In real life it lasted months. Despite Appaloosa Plains being a huge town, at the end of the play, even with story progression turned on all the time, youth of the town was mostly related to my families. It made finding relationships for my teens really hard. Town was the least stable so far. I was using town reset often. And least important thing, in that generation I had a thing for naming kids after country and country related artists. I don't listen to country, so I went kinda randomly with it. Generations Air number 2. Story in Appaloosa Plains. Hailey and Kelly. Hailey and Kelly had become millionaires in IP. Hailey had been aiming to become an astronaut, while Kelly has been working in the political field and even became the town's mayor. In my head, she's a leader of a political party that focuses on rich people, and I wanted to play with the club mod a bit. They had 4 butlers working for them. There's a weird story going on with it, like 2 of them died by electrocution. They were trying to repair the dishwasher. The funny thing was that the second one was Kelly's lover, and Eneras asked if it should count towards Hailey's assassination score. So there's that little conspiracy going on. Did H plan it, or it was really an accident? Both divorced, and after that there was a big conflict about the house ownership. None of them wanted to give up the house. Selling it was not an option, so they kinda lived together, slept in different rooms, and avoided each other. Hailey remarried to Jackie Miller, who was Kay's lover for a while. That girl is a gold digger. H became an astronaut one day after being an elder, and died in mysterious circumstances at work. Kelly, at the beginning of them living in AP, cheated with Jackie, but it was a short-living relationship because of the mods I was trying to test. She instantly accused Kay of cheating on her. After the divorce, she found a lover in their butler Shelley, who died, who tried to repair the kitchen equipment. Generation 6, Air number 1. Billy, Chuck and Juanita. Chuck is flirty and a coward at the same time. I figured out he would be the type to be cheated on in every relationship he's in. Later, when he got married to Juanita, he rolled the wand to have 5 romances. It was quite annoying because I put in my mods folder 2 mods by Boring Bones that were meant to make NPCs more intelligent, and all of them were instantly accusing him of cheating at their dates. He's a writer just like his grandmother Candy. It was his wish to do so, and he's mostly writing romances and satirical books. He wrote books such as Cat Horses, Catastrophe, Horses, and Horse Rush. His lifetime want is the one when you're supposed to have 2 animals per type, but it was bugged and he doesn't have it fulfilled even if the conditions were bad. Sims 3 lifetime wants can be like this sometimes. I tried to cheat it with Enras, but that particular one I had no idea how to. I remember Oriole Bert was one of his girlfriends and she left him for his cousin. They have rare 10 out of 10 in chemistry. Later he got married to Juanita Blanco. They were married, divorced at some point, and are back together now as girlfriend-boyfriend. They have 2 sons, Taylor and Peter. They are not good parents, contrary to their previous generations. She dislikes them and he is more busy with writing. They forced their kids into the music school with Enra's career, with hopes for them developing their skills and becoming famous, as the next generations get famous 2.0 after all. Not looking at their kids' hobbies. I think Chuck heard their grandparents talk about life in Bridgeport and being bitter about not being able to experience it himself, as they were being raised in a small town and being too old for fame. Back to the kids. Both of them are failing school while working after hours at the theater. Peter is a bit more ambitious, while Taylor just wants to be done with education. At first the plan was for Taylor to become a singer, but Peter is a little bit more interested in music. Both of them are very rebellious. They all want to skip school quite often. And yes, Taylor is named after Taylor Swift because she's a singer, name is unisex, and she's at the top. And one more thing to say about Taylor. So he's a teenage father with Latricia Midden, who's a kid of 2 premates. They have a daughter together named Sasha, who's only raised by Latricia, Chuck and Juanita forced Taylor to abandon the child. That's why he's not in the family tree. That's how she will look like as an adult. Pet side family number 1. Billy, Carrie and Booker. Carrie is Chuck's sister. She works in the medical field but is quite like Sunset Valley's Jamie Jolina, who's both a magician and a party animal. In the free time she takes care of her horses. She's also into chemistry, discovering various potions. She tried to take part in the horse races, but they were never ending for me. She had 3 important relationships. Cruz Martingale as a teen, Benjamin Schmidt and Booker Singleton. With the third one she got married as he owns a horse ranch. Later they divorced as he cheated on her with someone. My headcanon for her is that her work life has gotten so much to her she wears gloves all the time. She has 2 kids with her ex-husband, Luke and Casey. Casey had a toddler birthday party when Booker was at work, disappeared and seemed like I couldn't get her back, but she eventually came back safe and sound. They are quite attached to their mom, but Casey keeps in touch with her dad quite often, unlike Luke. Heir number 2. Hailey, Isaac and Erika. Isaac is a workaholic, good natural cook, neat and a dog person. Isaac is Hailey's adopted son. He was adopted from Hailey's wish. Despite his mom sending him to the military school for education, they love each other a lot. Education of the children has caused a conflict in his parents' marriage, with Hailey being all about military and Kelly preferring more traditional, a prestigious private school. I say that because Jennifer is enemies with Hailey. He's good unlike his mom and became a cop in the analytical path. He's a huge dog person and his lifetime what was to adopt 6 stray dogs. He fulfilled that. 2 of the dogs were elders who he rescued from the streets. They are not alive anymore, so it was a sweet gesture of his. I like him so much I made for him 2 possible partners who in my mind are best friends. His love story is basically a good girl but bad boy in reverse. Erika is a gold digger who hates work, so she's a criminal. She quits her job from time to time, probably to save herself from being caught and put in jail. She has never been there. Hailey hated her guts. I think she sees all the red flags. Isaac has 2 daughters, Brittany and Charlotte, and in his family there is no name topic. I chose something from the top of my head. There's also 3rd daughter Janet, I forgot to mention her. Important side character not played 1. Jennifer. Jennifer is a daughter of Kelly and Hailey wanted by Kelly. As she's family oriented, I figured out she would like to experience pregnancy and they asked their family friend Dallas Shallow to use his genes for the child. She also was educated in the military school and despises Hailey for it. She's a coward and a cat lover. Later in life she went steady with Benny Hennessy, moved out to live with her, but later they split up. It's a very random household. No one's here related and that's how Jennifer lives. Even if they were enemies, Jennifer is still sad about her mother's death. Family tree at the end of the pet's generation. Gia's side. Crystal married Quincy Miller. Their sons are Ray Miller and Rene Miller. Abel went steady with Valerie Chandra. Their kids are Carlo Chandra, Hada Chandra Yuan and Cole Yuan. Fen, Ryan's side. Billy. Dominic Shelley went steady with Cornell Riffin. Alyssa Shelley had a daughter with Tate Curley named Trish Shelley. She's engaged to Moises Newby. Chuck married, divorced and went steady with Juanita Blanco and had Taylor and Peter. Kerry married and divorced Booker Singleton. Their kids are Luke and Casey. Pete remarried to Jocelyn Perrott. Roberto married Dakota Fox. Mortimer married Benny Hennessy, Jennifer's ex. Christopher, before his transition, had a daughter, Caroline, with Cruz Martingale. He was also married to Chuck Hubble. Dina married Cruz Martingale and had Barron with him. Darcy Doobie is engaged to Patricia Bedlington. Jared Doobie married Oriole Bird and had Delbert and Charmaine. Jessica is engaged to Shawnee Fox. Moises Doobie is their son. Isaac is the father of Brittany, Charlotte, and Janet. Jennifer is single. The final look at the family tree from 4 previous generations. Generation 6 finally. Start with a quick house overview, not built by me. Don't know what happened, but his grades have improved. Chuck's a journalist now. Taylor dislikes his ex, who he has baby with, and her father hates him. He's sad about his grandfather's sister. Chuck wants to throw a birthday party for him, so I pretend Chuck asks Taylor if he wants it. Most of the family members are invited. Hello, where's the pizza, dear Monique? Did someone hack your computer? Tico and the Man. Sims version. We don't have money anymore. By the way, we're almost at 18 weeks. Show me your face. Definitely not a pudding face. You were supposed to go to school, not do homework. That's a $60 pizza right there. Why not? You can change your job. You do it all the time. By Monday we'll be in Starlight Shores. Oh my god. This is not CK free, man. Pets in the background. The birthday party has started around 7 p.m. but we have to wait for boys to come from work. I had them go because they have 0 days off and Taylor wants to be promoted. $60 pizza will be useful. It's just 2 hours to wait. Don't leave. You wanna leave? Now you won't. Okay. They did it. And now it's time to end this generation with our brother and our cousin are cheering on us. In the background, she's cooking pet food again.
Barbie King! Party dog!
What others are doing? Anyway, another Taylor. Absent-minded. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna change it anyway. Oh, and he generated with no eyebrows. Sped up version of me trying to find fitting outfits for him. I won't show you everything, but here's the makeover I gave to Taylor. I wanna change his looks after he becomes famous.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Why the fuck is he doing homework at the party? Wait, now I know this that cake isn't connected, if you know what I mean. Parents' career and character wants are so bad.
Another one.
What's up with the obsession over cooking pet food? Finish the party with your awesome guitar solo. It's Saturday, man.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Let's end this generation with a graduation that gets funky because someone woke up late to cry over Phoebe. It's 1 p.m. and they are going in. Cool, but his wish isn't the right one yet. Generations, worst to best, so far. Number 6. World Adventures, Generation 2. Nothing interesting added to overall gameplay, could be a separate game. Still focused on the individual. I played on a laptop who couldn't handle extensive texture loading even with smooth patch. I couldn't get some WA quests to spawn, like the Hemur one in China. It's a base game 2.0 but longer. 5. Ambitions, Generation 3. Decent single sim player, semi-rotational experience with a little focus on family. 4 different air options to choose from. 4. Pets, Generation 5. It's mostly about pets, but at least they don't get infinite amount of DLCs. My guests kept cooking pet food all the time when they were invited at the party. Had to balance family life with goal achieving, buggy lifetime want, 2 pets of each type. 3. Base game, Generation 1. Just doing my favorite Sims 3 stuff, collecting gems. It's a 180-degree difference from TS2, where the single sim gameplay is on the backbone. I don't hear people yelling at me about the car animations not existing. 2. Late night, Generation 4. Little pressure on achieving goals. Still didn't make a 5-star celebrity. Surprisingly big family to play. Focus on gaining skills. Bridgeport is one of my favorite Sims 3 cities. And number 1, Generations, Generation 5. Chill gameplay, semi-rotational, no pressure on achieving goals. 2 heirs, one was a mean angler babysitter, second was a evil military girl. I really enjoyed Riverview as a free town. Finally got Enra settings in check, like retuner on story progression. That's it for today's video, hope you enjoy it, liked my talking about me playing Sims 3. Click a like, subscribe, whatever. Bye, I'll see you again in the next video.